Uhuru Kenyatta was born on 26 October 1961. He is a Kenyan politician, businessman, and the fourth and the current President of the Republic of Kenya. He served as a member of the Parliament for Gatundu South from 2002 to 2013. Currently, he is a member and the party leader of the Jubilee Party of Kenya. Uhuru was previously associated with Kenyan African National Union before joining the National Alliance, one of the allied parties that campaigned for his re-election during 2017 general elections. Uhuru is the son of Jomo Kenyatta, Kenya's founding father and the first president of the Republic of Kenya, who served in 1964 to 1978, with his fourth wife, Mama Ngina Kenyatta. His family hails from Kikuyu, a Bando ethnic group. His name, Uhuru, is from a Swahili term for freedom, and was given to him in anticipation of Kenya's upcoming independence. Uhuru attended St. Mary's School in Nairobi between 1979 and 1980. He also briefly worked as a teller at the Kenya Commercial Bank. After St. Mary's School, Uhuru went on to study economics, political science, and government at Amherst College in the United States. Upon his graduation, Uhuru returned to Kenya and started a company, Will Kenya Limited, through which he sourced and exported agricultural produce. Uhuru was nominated to Parliament in 2001. He became Minister for Local Government under President Daniel Arap Moi. Despite his political inexperience, was favored by Moi as his successor. Kenyatta ran as KANU's candidate in December 2002 presidential elections, but lost to opposition candidate Mwai Kibaki by a big margin. He subsequently became leader of opposition in parliament. He backed Kibaki for re-election in December 2007 presidential election and was named Minister for Local Government by Kibaki in January 2008, before becoming Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Trade in April 2008 as part of a coalition government. Subsequently, Kenyatta was Minister for Finance from 2009 to 2012, while remaining Deputy Prime Minister, accused by the International Criminal Court of committing crimes against humanity in relation to violence aftermath of the 2007 election. He resigned as a Minister of Finance on 26 January 2012. He was elected as President of Kenya in March 2013 presidential election, defeating Raila Odinga with a slim majority in a single round of voting. In the 1997 general election, Uhuru Kenyatta contested the Gatundu South constituency parliamentary seat, once held by his father but lost to Moses Muhia, a Nairobi architect. In 1999, Moi appointed Uhuru to chair the Kenya Tourism Board, a government parastatal. He was nominated to Parliament in 2001 and subsequently appointed to cabinet as a Minister for Local Government. Following this, he was elected as one of the 4 national vice chairmen of KANU in the same year. In 2001, he was nominated as Member of Parliament and he joined as the cabinet for Minister for Local Government. He would also later be elected vice chairman of the KANU. In the nomination process in 2002, in what was widely thought as undemocratic and underhand, Moi influenced Uhuru Kenyatta's nomination as KANU's preferred presidential candidate, sparking an outcry from the interested contenders and a massive exit from the party. This move by Moi was seen as a ploy to install Uhuru as a puppet, so that even in retirement Moi would still rule the country through Uhuru and presumably insulate himself against charges of abuse of office that plagued his presidency. Uhuru finished second to Mwai Kibaki in general elections with 31% of the vote. He conceded defeat and took up an active leadership role as leader of the opposition. In January 2005, Uhuru Kenyatta defeated Nicholas Biwott for chairmanship of KANU, taking home 2,980 votes among party delegates against Biwott's 622 votes. Uhuru led his party KANU in the referendum campaign against the draft constitution in 2005, having teamed up with the Liberal Democratic Party, a rebel function in the Kibaki government, to form the Orange Democratic Movement. The result of this was a vote against the adoption of the draft constitution by a noticeable margin, which was a great political embarrassment to Emilian Mwai Kibaki. In November 2006, Kenyatta was displaced as a KANU leader by Biwott. On 28 December 2006, the High Court of Kenya reinstated Uhuru Kenyatta as KANU chairman. However, further court proceedings followed. On 28 June 2007, the High Court confirmed Kenyatta as party leader, ruling that there was insufficient evidence for Biwott's argument that Kenyatta had joined another party. In the run-up to the 2007 general election, he led KANU to join coalition Party of the National Unity, with President Mwai Kibaki was running for a second term against Raila Odinga. PNU won the controversial 2007 elections, but the dispute over the poll resulted in 2007-2008 Kenyan crisis. Under an agreement between two parties to end the chaos, Kibaki remained as president in power-sharing agreement with Raila Odinga as the prime minister, while Uhuru Kenyatta was Kibaki's choice as deputy prime minister and minister for finance in his share of cabinet slots. ICC prosecutor Luis Moreno Campo charged Uhuru Kenyatta, who was a PNU leader at the time, as an indirect co-perpetrator in the violence that followed 2007-2008 Kenyan crisis, and the charges were confirmed on 23 January 2012. The prosecutor also charged William Ruto, who had been a supporter of the ODM, rivals of the PNU in 2007 election. Uhuru resigned as a Minister of Finance upon the confirmation of the charges but maintained his innocence. The charges were dropped on 13 March 2015 for lack of evidence. On 13 September 2007, Uhuru Kenyatta withdrew from the December 2007 presidential election in favor of Kibaki for re-election. He said that he did not want to run unless he was sure of winning. Following the election, amidst the controversy that resulted when Kibaki was declared the victor despite claims of fraud from the challenger Raila Odinga and his Orange Democratic Movement, Kibaki appointed Uhuru Kenyatta as the Minister for Local Government on 8 January 2008. After Kibaki and Odinga reached a power-sharing agreement, Kenyatta was named Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Trade on 13 April 2008 as part of the Grand Coalition Cabinet. He was the Deputy Prime Minister representing the PNU, while another Deputy Prime Minister Musalia Mudavadi represented the ODM. Kenyatta and the rest of the cabinet were sworn in on 17 April. Uhuru Kenyatta was later moved from local government and appointed Minister for Finance on 23 January 2009. During his tenure, he spearheaded a number of reforms measures that changed how Treasury and government by extension transact business, such as Integrated Financial Management Information System. In 2013, Uhuru Kenyatta was elected as the fourth and the current president of Kenya under the National Alliance, which was part of the Jubilee Alliance with his running mate William Ruto's United Republican Party. Uhuru and Ruto won 50.07% of votes cast, with closest rivals Raila Odinga and running mate Kalonzo Musyoka of the Coalition of Reforms and Democracy garnering 42%. Raila Odinga disputed the election results at the Supreme Court, which however held the election of Uhuru was valid and such irregularities did not make a difference to the final outcome. Uhuru Kenyatta was therefore sworn in as the president on 9 April 2013. Uhuru ran for the president in the elections held on 4 March 2013 and garnered 50.03% of the votes, while Raila Odinga garnered 43.4% and was thus the second in the field of 8 candidates. CORD, under the leadership of the presidential candidate Raila Odinga, lodged a petition with the Supreme Court of Kenya on 10 March 2013, challenging Uhuru's election. On 30 March 2013, Dr. Willy Mutunga, the Chief Justice of Kenya, read the anonymous Supreme Court ruling declaring the election of Uhuru Kenyatta and his running mate as valid. On 11 August 2017, the chairman of the IEBC, Wafula Chebukati, announced Uhuru's re-election to a second term in office during the 2017 general election with 54% of the popular vote. This was later contested in a court and annulled. In the events that followed the annulment, Kenyatta was seen as lacking direction and being a reactionary leader. Following this annulment, a second election was required in which Uhuru Kenyatta won with 98% of the vote, with that 9% voter turnout. On 9th March 2018, Uhuru Kenyatta agreed on a truce between the opposition leader Raila Odinga. This action marked the country's watershed moment that redrew its political architecture. On 27th November 2019, Uhuru Kenyatta launched the Building Bridges initiative in Bomas of Kenya. This was one of the results between him and opposition leader Raila Odinga, and its implementation will foresee some amendments in the Kenyan constitution. On 15th December 2010, prior to him becoming president, Kenyatta was named as a suspect of the crimes against humanity by the International Criminal Court prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo for planning and funding violence in Naivasha and Nakuru. This was in relation to the violence that followed the bungled national elections on December 2007. In furtherance of his political support for Kibaki's PNU at the time, he was accused of organizing a Kikuyu political religious group, the Mungiki, in the post-election violence. Overall, the post-election violence of 2007 is said to have claimed about 1,300 lives. Uhuru maintained his innocence and wanted his name cleared. On 8th March 2011, while serving as minister in Kibaki's government, he was indicated after being summoned to appear before the ICC trial chamber. He was to appear at The Hague on 8th April 2011 alongside 5 other suspects. On 29th September 2011, while seeking to exonerate himself, Uhuru Kenyatta put up a spirited fight as he was being cross-examined by the ICC chief prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo. On 29th September 2011, while seeking to exonerate himself, Uhuru Kenyatta put up a spirited fight as he was being cross-examined by ICC chief prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo in The Hague, denying any links with the outlawed Mungiki sect. He said Prime Minister Raila Odinga should take political responsibility for the acts of violence and killings that followed 2007 presidential elections in Kenya. He told the 3 judges by telling his supporters the election results were being rigged, fund tensions, and then failed to use his influence to quell the violence that followed the announcement of the 2007 presidential elections. On 23 January 2012, the ICC confirmed the cases against Kenyatta and Mudhara, although the charges against Mudhara were subsequently dropped. Serious concerns about the case have been raised, particularly the nature of the evidence being used against Uhuru Kenyatta. On 31st October 2013, the ICC postponed Kenyatta's trial to crimes against humanity by 3 months until 5th February 2014, after the defense had requested more time. On 8th October 2014, Kenyatta appeared before the ICC in The Hague. He was called to appear at the ICC status conference when the prosecution said evidence needed to go ahead with the trial was being withheld. In a speech to Kenyan Parliament, Kenyatta said that he was going to The Hague in a personal capacity, not as the president of the country, so as not to compromise the sovereignty of Kenyans. Kenyatta did not speak in court, but denied the charges in comments to journalists as he left to court to catch a flight back home. On 17 September 2012, the National Alliance Party had its first real test when it contested various civic and parliamentary positions in the by-election that covered 17 seats in total, 3 parliamentary and 14 civic. Uhuru Kenyatta's party, the National Alliance, TNA, joined William Ruto's United Republican Party, URP, Najib Balala's Republican Congress Party, RCP, and Charity Ngilu's National Rainbow Coalition Party to form the Jubilee Alliance Coalition. Various opinion polls prior to the election placed Uhuru as one of the main contenders and his Jubilee Alliance as among the most popular. The other formidable coalition was the Coalition for Reform and Democracy CORD, led by Raila Odinga. As per the IEBC official results, Uhuru Kenyatta won with a 50.03%, while Raila Odinga won with a 43.7%. Uhuru's results was above the 50+1 vote threshold set out in the 2010 constitution, thus making him being the president-elect. There was some discontent with the official results, as will be expected in such a hotly contested election, especially in Raila Odinga's strongholds. The inordinate delay in releasing the results and the technical failure of some safeguards and election equipments deployed by the IEBC did not help the perception that the election had been less than free and fair. The two groups disputed these results and filed petition challenging various aspects of it at the Supreme Court of Kenya to contest the result. The groups were the Coalition for Reform and Democracy, led by Raila Odinga, and the African Center for Hope and Governance. Uhuru Kenyatta and his running mate were respondents in the cases and were represented by Fred Ngatia and Kato Keegan respectively. The Supreme Court judges unanimously upheld the election of Uhuru Kenyatta as Kenya's fourth president after rejecting Raila Odinga's petition in a verdict delivered on Saturday 30th March 2013. Chief Justice William Mutunga in his ruling said the elections were indeed conducted in compliance with the Constitution and the law. After the Supreme Court dismissed the petition, the swearing-in ceremony was held on 9th April 2013 at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, Nairobi, in accordance to the Constitution, which stipulates that, in case the Supreme Court upholds the victory of the president-elect, the swearing-in will take place on the first Tuesday following the seventh day following the date on which the court renders decision declaring the election to be valid. On 1st September 2017, the Supreme Court of Kenya nullified the re-election of Uhuru Kenyatta after the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission had announced him the winner on 8th August 2017. As a result of that, there was a need for re-election to be held again. It was scheduled for 26th October 2017. After the re-election, Uhuru Kenyatta emerged the winner once again. He was sworn in on 28th November 2017 for his second presidential term.